You're watching Activist TV.
It's Saturday the 17th of June and I'm in Jubilee Square in Leicester, where there's a protest today about getting rid of the Conservatives and the DUP. So what do you really think of austerity?
I think it kills.
It's true, isn't it? I mean, it's really creating some big problems now, and we've seen some terrible things happening in recent weeks, and so much of that is all about breaking down decent governments and looking after fat cats.
Yeah, I mean, I used to be a teacher actually, and I used to teach in one of the poorest schools in Southend where I'm from. And what used to happen there is during half term, the food banks used to run out of food because the kids weren't getting any food.
That's terrible.
And that's just the way they were living. And I could see that. That's just one end of it. Things that have happened recently.
Yeah,
as well.
it's not good, is it? We definitely need a change in government.
Yeah, definitely.
To commemorate the memory of Jo Cox, a dedicated TM, activist and mother. Her despicable murder last year will never be forgotten, and our anger will never subside. But today, I want us to remember all she did for the United Kingdom, and as we go forward, keep her as inspiration for what we can accomplish. In her words, we are far more united and have far more in common with each other than things that divide us. Now, Theresa May has said that she is willing to eradicate this country's human rights, supposedly in the name of terrorism. Well, let me remind you of some of those human rights. In 1965, we became one of the leading countries in abolishing the death penalty. In 1967, after decades of campaigning, we passed a law to allow abortion in England, Wales, Scotland. Just 4 years ago, a law was passed to allow same-sex marriage, and we remain the country with the largest amount of LGBT members in a parliament. To jump into bed with a party that directly opposes these accomplishments in British history is appalling, and an insult to the men and women who fought for these accomplishments. I find the idea of reverting over 50 years of social progress to be far more concerning than the idea of a Labour government. The underlying question here, though, is why? Why is our government entering such a coalition? The sad reality is that this benefits no one. Not the middle class, not the working class. It doesn't even benefit many members of the Conservative government. It benefits one person, and that person is Theresa May. Exchanging our values to further her own career is not something that we will tolerate. As for stopping terrorism, I don't think a woman having the right to a body or the right for a loving couple to be married encourages terrorism. I think that selling arms to Saudi Arabia, instigating terrorist cells such as ISIS, and cutting 20,000 police officers is far more damning to put the finishing touches on this coalition of chaos. The DUP deny the existence of climate change, and we can see how well that's working for America. We've come here today to make our voices heard. As I speak, protests are happening around the country. In London, nearly 15,000 people are rallying. Now, I'd like to introduce a series of speakers. Ian, the chair of the University of Leicester's Labour Society, if you could please come up here. Liz, a member of the board of the Momentum organisation, if you'd like to come up here as well.
Yep.
She's to be seen. There you go. And Chris, a member of the Green Party. So without further ado, I pass the microphone.
Thank you all for coming here today, and it's so important, I think, for me to talk about and focus on the potential impacts on LGBT rights. In Northern Ireland, LGBT people are not given the rights that they deserve. Same-sex couples are not given the right to marry. This is dreadful, and the idea that there would be a Tory DUP coalition which would potentially impact this even further worries me really deeply. And I think the main issue when it comes to LGBT rights as well is the fact that there are barely any recognition of trans people in Northern Ireland. So that's what I wanted to kind of speak to you all about today. And thank you very much for listening. I'll pass it on to Liz now. Thank you.
Alright, well, all these finds this speech, I'll keep mine. I'll make it nice and long because you've got long pockets. It's going to be a boring history lecture because what I do for a living is I'm a historian. So I feel that it's important that we all need to know where this party called the Democratic Unionist Party are coming from, what their roots were and what they're currently doing and their position in Northern Ireland. So we need to know what their priorities are so as we can more effectively shut them out of involvement in Great British politics because they're poison. These are people who exemplify a view of politics and its relationship to the Protestant religion that went out of fashion with very good reason throughout most of Europe in about 1745. It was responsible for the 30 Years' War that killed millions of people in the 17th century. These are people who actually think that the European Union was created by the Pope and that the Pope is the Antichrist. Honestly, we look across the Atlantic, we look across a body of water and we find a bunch of people who are religious crazies who actually care more about their idea of how the world's going to end than they do about human rights in the here and now. But there's also a whole bunch of other people who feel exactly the same way across the Georges Channel. And we have to know that that's what motivates a large chunk of these people and their support. Politically, this is where the boring history lesson starts. Till about 1965, Northern Ireland was part of the United Kingdom, but it was run locally entirely by Protestants, and not all Protestants either, middle-class Protestants, organised in the official Unionist Party. This really systematically shut Catholic people out of jobs, of housing, and of participation in the electoral system. They were shut out of local government, for example. This led to the civil rights movement, which people you might have heard of, like Gerry Adams and Martin McGuinness, but also people like John Hume, who later became SDLP, rather than being Sinn Féin, were involved in. It was a Catholic-wide movement with some Protestant support, designed to try and get Catholics civil rights within Northern Ireland. This was brutally suppressed by the Irish establishment led by the official Unionist Party. Then, because the state of order was so disrupted in Northern Ireland, the British imposed direct rule, started ruling Northern Ireland from London. They also picked a fight, rather foolishly, with the Provisional IRA, which had also rather foolishly split from the official IRA. It does get complicated, Wikipedia is good on this. It's worthwhile finding out this stuff. Meanwhile, the official unionists were still the ruling class of Northern Ireland. The British kept on trying to work out power sharing schemes where the official unionists would be forced to allow some Catholics, SDLP at that point, the non-violent Catholic party, to join in the government. This is where the DUP come in. To the right of the official unionists, there would always be these crazy preachers, led by a guy called Ian Paisley, who really believed in revelation. They really believed that the Catholic population of Northern Ireland were working for the devil. And I'm not making this up, that's what they thought was going on. They've been nutters. They've been on the far side, the far right of politics, and no one had paid attention to them. Come the mid-70s, as the official unionists are persuaded by the British government to try and get into a power sharing agreement, they got to be more powerful. They didn't quite form their own terrorist organisation. For some values of quite. There was something called Ulster Resistance, which was an assembly of volunteers that never actually got around officially to killing people, but spent a lot of time saying, parading, wearing military uniforms, saying that if there's any kind of power sharing deal, or if there's any kind, particularly if there's any kind of united Ireland, we will launch a terrorist campaign against the Catholics of Northern Ireland. And the DUP leadership of the generation that's currently here, that's currently in charge of it, was implicated in Ulster Resistance. The whole point of the DUP was to say, if any Protestant compromise happens, we will create our own insurrectionary movement and we will murder Catholics. It suited the DUP quite well to allow loyalist murder squads to do just this. They weren't necessarily all personally involved in this, but it suited their politics very well for that to happen. The big irony of this, of course, is that loyalist murder squads eventually formed their own political parties who sat back, thought for a bit, and decided that working class unity was the only way forward, and ended up leapfrogging the DUP and shifting to the left. So the DUP was there as the people who were always going to be opposing the Irish peace process. Now, they're not all evil, they're not all bad. The Good Friday Agreement did mean that the DUP as well followed the official unionists into the peace process, just as Sinn Féin also followed the SDLP into the peace process. Then we saw the amazing, a pretty heartwarming sight of Ian Paisley becoming mates with Martin McGuinness, something which, if you'd said to me 20 years ago, will this ever happen, I just have laughed in your face. It's not all bad. Arlene Forster did go to McGuinness's funeral. She's not all evil. But, meanwhile, there's a lot of things going on. The peace process didn't really make peace, it just froze war. So the different opposed communities have stayed where they are. There are more boundaries now between so-called Catholic and so-called Protestant areas in working class Northern Ireland than there were in 1995. An awful lot of money and power goes down through community groups rather than through any kind of democratic situation. Attempts to create more cross-religion organisations like integrated schools and like the Northern Ireland Women's Party have fallen down because the state would rather separated schools. Is the way that the Northern Ireland state currently works. So the DUP's own power base has stayed Protestant. The other thing that's going on is that in power and the power sharing government, the DUP have managed to continue their old technique of jobs for the boys and of corruption. Right now, the thing Arlene Foster wants, there's several things Arlene Foster wants on Theresa May, but one of them is going to be a bit of forgiveness for the £500 million scheme, the scam called Renewable Heat Initiative that she passed a few years ago, which means that her core support, farmers in Antrim, get paid £50,000 a year for setting fire to wood. The more wood they burn, the more money they get. It's an amazing scandal which she should be in prison for, and I imagine that one of the deals she wants off of Theresa May is to not be in prison. The other thing that the DUP have done is they have not changed their stance on human rights. They have not moved an inch on gay rights, they have not moved an inch on women's rights. Remember, we live in the United Kingdom. Abortion is decriminalised in England, Scotland and Wales. It's still actually not a legal act. It's just a decriminalised act. We've got to go further. We've got to go further in Great Britain. It's still an illegal act in Northern Ireland. Not only that, there was a recent court case. A woman from Northern Ireland comes to the UK, rocks up, says she wants an abortion. The NHS can't provide it for her. They've got to filter out. They've got to interrogate women coming in and say, I need an abortion. And they've got to say, well, if you're from Northern Ireland, you can't have one. If you're from the rest of the GP, you can. That's an outrage. We need there's a matter of urgency to make that, to stop that situation going on. We need to extend the abortion rights to the whole UK. So that's where we've been, that's where we're at, and there's some reasons why we've got to make sure that May does not, as she's going down, take any more of us down with her, that she doesn't sell us out to get 10 extra votes in Parliament. So, we've got to drop the duck, yeah? Thank you.
I don't think this anymore is about coalition. If it's a coalition or some kind of alliance, I don't think no matter how progressive it is, I think whoever they are, they don't represent the interests of our class, and they've got to go. I think what we've witnessed this week with the burning down the Grenfell Tower is that they'll go an awful long way to protect their wealth and their secrets and their... What's wearing? Come on, it's around. Their landlord mates have made an awful lot of money by putting up cladding around a building that has burnt people in their beds. There's 500 people missing. There's mountains of aid adding, piling up for them, and there's nowhere for this stuff to go because there's no one to give it to because they're dead, and they're not telling us this. So it doesn't matter about any coalitions. These people have to go. It's not just... It's pretty heavy. That's cool. It's not just this week this happens, this is all the time, this is what capitalism is. This is about how they poison our air with their obsession with oil. This is about how they cut our benefits and our dignity and our health services and our education services and anything else that costs them a bit of money they'd rather keep in their own pockets. Everything we've had today, everything we're losing at the moment is things that we've already won once, so we're not going to waste our time having to fight for them back. We're just going to keep them, yeah? And now is exactly the time to be doing that. And what do we do to be moving forward? We need to get organised really, really quickly, because it's enough that millions of people rejected austerity in the general election. That isn't enough. We need to go back, we need to go a bit bigger and bigger, and we need to organise in our estates and in our workplaces, in our schools, and our universities and colleges, and in our job centres and everywhere on the streets, and we need to do it now. So, another election's around the corner, so you need to get organised and talk to each other. Thank you very much.
Hey.
Where's our MC?
First off, I want to say that if anyone else would like to speak to that, oh, you would?
My name is Jackie Lewis. I've got many labels. I'm a descendant of Irish. I'm a woman who is absolutely pro-abortion because it is our woman's right. I am a socialist, and I've been sickened for years and years and years, not just Theresa May. She's a symbol of the rotten core of the Tory party, of the ruling class. I've been happy to see refugees die in the sea, in their hundreds, in their thousands. I've been happy to see homeless hostels close all over this country. I've been happy to see London ethnically cleansed so they can get their rich mates in there. That's what the Tories are all about. The Tories are desperate. They're going to go. We just need to keep on pushing. They're on the brink. I want to thank Ben for setting this up today. It's brilliant, Ben. And I want to thank Jeremy Corbyn. And I'm not in the Labour Party, I'm in the Socialist Workers' Party. But Jeremy Corbyn has brought the left together. He's brought the left outside the party. He's brought the left inside the party together. He's brought nuclear into the Labour Party. And I think we have big hats off to Jeremy Corbyn, big hats off. And we need to carry on with this. We need all of us on the left to be united. and fight against not just Theresa May. Theresa May's a symbol. The Tories must go and they must never come back. And so we need to unite and carry on the fight. And every time a protest like this is called, we need to make it bigger and bigger and make sure the Tories go.
Yeah!
The reality is that everything we are campaigning for is what Britain has already experienced. We were once an incredibly wealthy country who also managed to maintain social equality. People from working class families were able to go to university, which is a reality that just does not exist today. That social movability is so important, and yet it's been stripped completely clean after decades of austerity from both the right and the left. Now, in today's world, we have to look at what we can do, because I know how insignificant you can feel in times like these. When you look at these governments that are backed by multi-billion corporations, you think, how the hell can I possibly make a difference? Well, I'd like to end with a quote from Jeremy Corbyn. You think of all the great changes that have happened in the world. They have seldom come from people in power. They've come from people who put pressure on people in power. Every person standing in front of me is one of those people. Thank you very much for coming. We need to make sure that we can have genuine discussions with our friends, with our family, about who to vote for. Not telling them, go vote for Jeremy Corbyn, but tell them why you're voting for Jeremy Corbyn and a Labour government. Ask them, what will they benefit from more of a Conservative government? If you're young, you're looking at going into dozens of thousands of pounds in debt to go to university. If you're old, you're looking at barely having anything to give your children after you pass away because of the dementia tax. No matter how many U-turns she might spin on it, the fact that she ever consider it is, to me, good enough to see that her interests aren't in her own demographic. The old vote Conservative the most, and yet she treats them like garbage, as she does with every other citizen in the United Kingdom. The other thing that we have to look at is the reality of the Labour manifesto. Many called it idealistic, and quite frankly, it is. But is it unrealistic? No, absolutely not. In terms of unpaid taxes from bankers, we are currently looking at over 50 billion in this country. How much does the Labour manifesto cost? Roughly the same. So, if it's achievable, why is it not happening? To continue to fill the pocket of the Conservative government. This is something that people in this country will not stand for. The amount of people who turned out for the general election is proof of this, especially young people. I want to personally thank every person who probably would not have voted but made an effort to, because you are changing the direction of this country, as we are seeing today. No matter how much the Sun or the Daily Mail may say that young people are lazy, the scroungers, they usually just sleep in instead of going to an election, which is a direct quotation from the Sun. As we can see, people still attend because people care about politics. It's not that we don't care, it's that there's been such great disenfranchisement from every single side that we feel as if we can't make a difference. But today we're seeing that. The approval polls today put Theresa May as lower than Jeremy Corbyn's overall approval before the start of the general election. That is true for every person in front of me.
Out!
Hiya, my name is Olta. I'm not a good speaker. I was not ready. However, I've got all this stigma on me. I'm supposed to be Muslim. I'm left. I'm migrant. I'm black. But I'm here. I've left my country, Tunisia. I've witnessed a lot of racism. I've been to Greece in the hope to have a better life. But again, I've witnessed racism. The first time in my life, I feel happy secure in Leicester. Did you know that in Leicester we have no majority? There is
is no ethnic majority in Leicester. There is no 50%, no white, no Sikh, no Muslim, nothing. We are a mixture. I've read this today. I'm happy for this, Leicester, and this is my voice to tell you that we are privileged. Let's fight against stories. Let's fight against austerity. You have the example of Greece. Austerity is a fake story. It is a fake story. Greek people are innocent, like you guys. Politicians have stolen the country and they are paying austerity. Same thing happens here. It starts by immigrants, it starts by refugees, by gay people, but then no one is secure. You are all at risk. So we have to go out together, we have to be united, whether under the label Corbyn or survival. We have to survive.
The other thing I can't emphasize enough is to continue these kind of protests. Again, I say that community is so important. And the reason for that, as we're seeing right now, is that when people come together and they make their voices heard, social change happens. And I know I'm banging on that point at this point, but especially in somewhere like Leicester, where we're a fairly small city, but such a diversity, and that diversity is absolutely something we can capitalise on. So I'm asking everyone here, if you see a protest in Leicester, mark yourself down on Facebook or invite people to it. Or maybe if you've got a free Saturday afternoon but you want to make your voice heard, you can absolutely organise something like this. I know it seems like a lot of work. And absolutely, I'm looking to organise more and more. And I would love as many people to come along and to invite your friends, your family, anybody else in your community. Because we are making a difference. Hard as it may be to believe at times, we absolutely are. So again, I want to thank everyone who's come today.
Hey! Woo!
Activist TV.